Hello YouTube, today we're going to be doing a circuits problem involving superposition, and we're going to use that method to solve this problem here. So we're going to try to find the value of Ix, which is that current going through the resistor of the 120 ohms there, and we're going to use superposition. Now what superposition does is you remove all currents, or all sources, except for one, and then you solve that circuit, and then you combine all the currents together. So we're going to, since there are two sources here, there's going to be two places where we're going to have current, and there are going to be two circuits that are going to be as a result. So for the first one, the battery, when we remove the battery, it'll become a wire. So just draw the normal circuit without the battery in it, and then wherever the battery would be, just draw a perfectly conducted wire. That's what we assume. And then the other circuit is if we remove the current source becomes an open circuit. So you have your original circuit, and then that's an open source there, open current. So that's kind of what we have in terms of superposition. And what we do is we solve for Ix1 and Ix2, and then since the total current is Ix1 plus Ix2, you get the total current through the circuit, and you can solve it this way. So let's get right to it. You can solve the circuit here on the left by using a current divider and saying, well, the current flowing through this circuit, since 120 ohms and 60 ohms are in parallel, you can solve for the current there. So that would be 60 ohms over the sum of 120 plus 60, which is 180, multiplied by the 24 amp source, current source, and then you'll get 8 amps. And then for this one on the right here, you use a voltage divider. You can rewrite the circuit pretty much kind of like we did over here, or pretty much ignore the red, and then you can just see like a normal basic circuit where you have two resistors in series with a 180 volt battery. So you just use Ohm's law equals V over R, and then you'll have 180 volts over 180 ohms, because 120 plus 60 is 180, and you get 1 amp. Since you know Ix is equal to Ix1 plus Ix2, you simply add those two together, and you get 9 amps. Now another way we could have done this, since you actually used the same problem to solve by using a different method in circuits, and since we knew the answer was 9 amps, you could just look at the circuit on the right there and use the voltage divider and find Ix2 is 1, and then subtract 1 from 9, and you can get 8, and you can ignore the circuit on the left. So that's another way to do it if you already know the answer. Pretty much circuits, there are so many different ways to approaching a problem. You just got to find the best one that works for you and is the quickest as well. So that's superposition. To summarize, all you do is you remove all the current, or all the sources, battery sources and current sources, except for one. You leave that one in there, and then you analyze the current going through that circuit. Now, when you remove a battery, that becomes a wire, and when you remove a current source, that becomes an open circuit. And what you do is when you find the current in every single circuit that you make with one source, you sum them all up together, and then you have your total current going through the circuit, or in this case it only asks for that resistor. So hope that helped, and good luck practicing your superposition.